After making 200 mini plushies in February, I feel very accomplished but also slightly burnt out on making the same pattern over and over again. So I did the only right thing and I went ahead and bought myself a new pattern. We're staying in the lane of my market bestsellers of last year, so I went ahead and got myself a cat pattern to try out in this week's video. I got the green frog crochet cat pattern, which comes with 4 different fur patterns, and I want to try and make them all in this week's video to see if I like how they turn out, how long they take me, and if they might be my new market pattern to make for cats. Since I sold over 100 of my cats last year, this is what my cats look like now, and I'm honestly excited to try out a new pattern, try and challenge myself and make something new after a month of making only 4 different patterns over and over again. And yeah, I want to take you guys along for making some new cats. I really want to see how long they take me, since it seems like a little more detailed pattern than the one I usually use. And it's not no-sew, which I usually try to avoid for markets, but I think it looks so cute that I've been really wanting to try it out, and I can't wait to see how they turn out and if they might become my new market staples. So let's get right into making the first cat. Hi, my name is Veronica and I run a small business called Looping Teddies, where I make and sell crochet plushies. And I have already picked out which cat I want to make first. So it comes with 4 cats. One is a solid colored cat. The next one is a tabby cat. We have a Siamese cat. And which one is the last? A calico cat. Yes. And at my markets, people usually try and find their own cat or some cat that resembles their own. So I really like that this pattern comes with some different fur patterns, since that is what people are drawn towards at my booth. And that is one of my most requested custom orders, is for people to send me cat pictures and I try and make the cat that they own or they owned. So I'm really excited to make lots of fun new fur patterns, and the one that's calling my name first is actually the tabby cat. I feel like it would be smart to start out with the solid colored cat, yeah, because I think that would be the easiest, but I really like the tabby cat because just the detail on it is so cute, the little stripes on top. So this one is really calling my name and I really want to try that out first. And I have already picked out the colors that I want to make it in. I will stick with the colors that the pattern kind of suggests. So we will have this beige as the body color. I have lots more of it. This is just the little scrap that I had back at home that I wanted to use up. So that will be the body color. The white will of course be white. The details the little feet and the chest and the lower half of the face. And then the little stripes will be in this teddy bear brown. And I think they are embroidered. I actually haven't read through the pattern. I think so, yeah. So the dark brown will just be embroidery and the white and beige will be the actual body colors that you work on. So I will go ahead and start working and I will keep you updated on any thoughts on the pattern, how long it takes me, all of that. So let's get started. Okay, so the little tail is completed. This is the first little part of this plushie and it took me 3 minutes to make. And it's not my favorite thing to make these tiny little rounds. So the biggest round is 6 for the tail. So an interesting start to this pattern, but I think we will now have larger rounds. So this one is completed. This will be crocheted into the body. So we have some low sew things going on. Also the ears are surface crocheted, so not sewn on. So I think the only thing to sew on is the head to the body, which I like. So at least it's low sew. And yeah, tail is completed. Now we will move on to the head next. And I think that is really exciting because by then you can really kind of tell what the plushie is going to look like. So let's keep working. I will actually crack open the window because it's one of the first actual warm days and I feel like spring is coming, which is really exciting. So let me crack open the window and keep working. Alright friends, so we now have the little kitty head completed with the eyes added. We also have the little snout embroidery done, if it will focus, not, yeah, like that. And I ended up using this cotton yarn that I got when I first started out crocheting. I bought like some cotton yarn from Hobie and I've had it ever since. So I used this like dusty rose color. I have like 10 different colors and this was the only like kind of like pink rose color that I could use as a little nose, but I really like the color actually. So we have that embroidery done and we also have the little stripes on the head. And I'm realizing now that like the contrast is like not that big from the stripes to the body color, but I think it's fine. I also think I kind of messed up on here. Like these are like not parallel, but we will leave it like that. I did struggle a bit with the ears because as I said, they are surface crocheted and she has like very detailed instructions. But if you didn't know, I am left-handed, so usually instructions like that are kind of difficult for me to actually do because I need to do them like mirrored. So I need to flip the instructions and start in the last stitch that she tells you to do. I need to do as my first stitch, if that makes any sense. So that's always a little difficult for me to understand the first time around, but I think they turned out fine. And yeah, the little head is completed and I really like it. It's actually quite smaller than I thought it would turn out, but yeah, we shall see. So little tail, little head finished, and now onto the body after I do my candle wholesale order that I need to pour today. So I will do that and then move on to making the body because I really want to complete at least one of the cats today and then make the rest of them over the course of the weekend. It's currently Saturday, so we shall see how many I can get completed today, but it is my goal to finish all 4 of them over the course of the weekend. So yeah, I will check in with you guys probably once I have the body finished. Okay friends, I'm now back. I actually ended up heading home after finishing the cat head and eating lunch and just hanging out for a little bit. But I'm now back and ready to tackle the cat body. But I did realize I never actually told you how long this little kitty head actually took me. So it took me 27 minutes. So with the 3 minutes of the tail, wherever that went, we're now at exactly 30 minutes for this cat so far. So I'm hoping that we can get it done in under an hour, but I'm actually not sure. I'm not sure how big the body is going to be and how detailed. And then the whole like sewing part always kind of stresses me out. So I really don't want to rush this pattern, but I want to have a realistic look at how long this is going to take me. So yeah, I will start to work on the body and I will check in hopefully once I have that finished. Alright friends, so I have now finished the body for the cat. So this is what it looks like. And it took me exactly 20 minutes to make. So we're now sitting at 50 minutes completely for this cat so far. And currently, like, I'm not sure. This like doesn't really look proportionate so far. Like the head is quite big compared to the body. I mean, it's supposed to be a baby cat, but currently I think it's like in its goofy little weird in-between stage. So now what's left to do for this cat is to sew it on like this, and then we will need to embroider a couple of dark brown stripes to the back. But yeah, so far kind of cute, but also like a little goofy with the proportion of the head to the body. I didn't really realize it doesn't really look like that in the pictures of the pattern, so we shall see how it looks when it's sewn on. So let me do that and I will check in with you guys once the first cat is completed and we shall see how long it actually took me. Alright friends, so it took me another 10 minutes to sew it up and add the final little details. So we're at exactly an hour for this little kitty. So this is what it ended up looking like. So this is the front view and we have the side view. And then also the back, which has like the little embroidery details. And I think these are like a lot more parallel than the ones on the head. So quite a little bit of improvement there. And I think it's pretty cute. I'm not sure if I like this pattern better than I do my other cats. It's definitely like a very different style, like a more like chibi anime style than my usual cats, which are like more like realistic looking cats. So it also might be just like I need to improve on this pattern, like not because the pattern is bad, but I need to like get used to the pattern a little more. So that might make it look a little cuter and like more put together in the future. I'm getting used to the look of this pattern. So first cat down, 3 more to go, and I'm still like motivated to make all of them to really try this pattern out and see if I like it. So 1 hour for this one. I think the solid colored kitty will definitely take me the least amount of time, and I think it's a nice enough size for an hour of work. I think I will do like 18 euros or so for this, so definitely still like worth it market prep wise so far. At least that's what I think. So yeah, that is what I'm thinking currently about this pattern. I do need to leave now from the studio though, because I need to actually go grocery shopping, and we have like 2 more hours until the stores close. So I really need to do that. But tonight my goal is to actually make the second pattern. I'm not sure if I will do the solid colored cat, just to see how long that takes me compared to like this more detailed cat, or if I will do one of the other two. So we shall see what I decide to do tonight, and I will check in with you guys tomorrow and show you the second kitty. Okay friends, I'm now back and I wanted to show you what I got accomplished for the little cats. So last time I spoke to you, I had this one finished, I believe, because it's almost a week later that I'm checking in with you guys now. So I think the last time I only had this little kitty completed, and now I actually have all 4 of them made. So here they all are. And I will show them to you one by one in just a second and talk about them a little more so that you really know what I think about this pattern. So I think the next one after I made the original like first kitty, I tried out the solid color kitty. And since the other cats had like some definite yarn color suggestions, I wanted to make one that would contrast the others a little bit and would have colors that the other cats wouldn't have. So I decided to go with a gray and make this cat completely gray, and I think it turned out so cute. I think I really improved on the ears, making them the second time. I kind of knew what to do because they are like crocheted on, so like surface crocheted, and it has like a very interesting technique that I kind of had to figure out the first time around. So I think I really improved on the ears for this one. And overall, I really like how this one looks. And I think I did a better job at sewing as well, which is not my favorite discipline. But I think this one turned out pretty cute. And it took me slightly less time. I wrote it down. So this one took me just around an hour, and this one took me 10 minutes less, so 50 minutes, which I think is pretty good for this size plushie. What I really liked about this one is that I didn't have to embroider anything like I did for this one. So this is just solid colored, no color changes, probably the easiest one to make. So I did that, and then next I made the little Siamese kitty. So this is what it turned out. And this one actually didn't take me that much longer than the other one, because apart from the head, you don't really like color change all that much because of the way it's made. So you start with the tail, so that is completely solid colored, and the front feet are also like separate parts at first, so those were completely solid colored, and the ears, as I said, are crocheted on, so those are solid colored as well. So apart from the face, not really a lot of color changes going on. And something that really I wasn't expecting is that this pattern actually has different instructions for the different cat breeds. So not just color changes, but also the face shape and everything. So this one has a slightly, I think it's a longer face, but like a little more narrow than the solid colored cat, for example. So that really surprised me. I'm not a huge cat person, so I don't really know a ton about different cats and what different features they might actually have. So I was actually surprised by that, and I thought that was a very neat little detail that they included different instructions for these cat breeds to make them look a little more like the actual cat. So that was surprising. I don't usually do that for my regular cats that I make. So yeah, definitely something different. What I don't really like about this cat is you can kind of see on the face, like it's a little twisted on the pattern. It's like a more centered round shape for the dark face. And I didn't adjust any of my stitches for this one because I didn't realize that it was actually like twisting to the side. So I don't love the face of it. I think it could have gotten way worse. I think it's still fine, but I still wish that at least the upper row would be like one stitch over. But I didn't know, and it was the first time making it, so usually you don't really know how it turns out the first time around. Like I really struggle to tell if I need to adjust my stitches for little patches like this. So usually once I make it the second time around, I write down what I did to adjust it, and then in the future I know how to make the cat with my tension. So that was the third one I made. And then the final little kitty was the little calico kitty, and I did adjust the colors a little bit for this one. So the pattern uses like a golden color, but I personally, when I make calico cats for my usual cat pattern, I always use these two colors, and I really like them. I really like the contrast for them. So I decided to go with those colors as well. And this one has a couple more color changes, like on the back and the tail. But for this one, I really liked the color changes that I did. So I kind of took a little guesstimate from this one and started to adjust the color changes from what I felt like was looking right to have the little face still centered between the two darker colored ears. So I think I did a pretty good job with the color changes for this one. The back of the head looks a little funky, I think, because of the color change, like the very abrupt color change, but I think it's like still fine. I don't really mind that. I love the little detail for the little back. And yeah, overall, I think this one might be my favorite because of all of the different colors, and it looks like very cat-like. And by this time, because it was the last one that I made, I think I really have this pattern figured out. And these two, I didn't tell you, these two took me both in between this cat and the first cat, but this one took me 55 minutes, this one took me 53 minutes, and this was because I was struggling with this and I was debating if I should frog the row and redo the face and all of that. So all under an hour except for this one, because this one has the embroidery and that actually really took it out of me. So yeah, I still think this one is very cute and I actually enjoy all of them quite a lot. But something I've been asking myself is I want to sell these for 18 euros, as I said last time, because of the size they're at, and I think that is like a very good price for them. And my usual cats I sell for 14 euros, but I've actually never timed myself for those. So I thought for today, because I have all of them finished and I feel like this video is like very short, I want to make one of my regular cats, like the pattern that I usually use, which is one of my bestsellers. So I would really like to make that today and try out and see how long that one takes me, and see if like the size difference and the amount of time it takes me actually makes sense, or if I need to adjust any prices. So that is the goal for today. I have picked out some colors for this one. So of course we will always need white for the cats, because, well, I guess if you're making a solid colored cat that isn't white, you don't need white, but for most cats that I make usually, I need some white. And then I would really like to make a sand colored kitty. So my usual cat pattern is like a tuxedo cat style. So with like, of course, the body shape will be very different, but I usually have like a white belly patch at the front and white little feet, which are little bobble stitches, and then a white tip of the tail. I will show that to you once I have that finished, but I think these two colors would be really nice, and at least the sand color is a color I haven't used on my other cats, so I think I will do that, work on it, and I will time myself, of course, and see how long it actually takes me, and see if all of the prices make sense that I have set for my different cats. And I will check in with you guys once I have something to tell you or something to show you. Alright friends, so this is how far I finished the cat so far. So this is like everything that you can make no-sew with this pattern. So that is what I usually do when I batch make them. I make them all the way up to here because you don't need any eyes or stuffing all the way to here. And we're now at 24 minutes for this cat so far. So actually pretty quick. I think we can definitely stay under half an hour for this. And now the next step is to add the eyes and add a little snout detail, which I do with this cotton yarn, and then just stuff it, sew it up, and add like the little detail for the ears, and then this cat will be completed. So actually pretty quick. I am surprised by that, and yeah, the size difference is already kind of showing, but I'm very excited to make some more cats in the future. I haven't made cats in a little while with this pattern, and I had quite a lot of fun making this, and yeah, I can definitely see myself making some more of that in the future. But for now, let me finish up the cat and tell you the final time. Alright friends, so I have finished the little kitty with my usual pattern, and it took me 6 minutes to finish up this cat after the last stage that I showed you. So it's completely finished now. I feel like I sewed on the face a little wonky because, as I said, I haven't made this pattern in a little bit, so I feel like I need to get back into it because I am definitely a little out of practice, but that means this cat took me exactly half an hour and this one took me an hour. And yeah, it does have quite the size difference. I'm actually really glad that I made this cat to compare because, as I said, I sell these for 14 and I was planning to sell them for 18, so those, and they're actually quite a lot bigger. So I think because of the time they took me, I actually went ahead and calculated how much I would need to sell this cat for if I wanted to make as much per hour as I am making with these cats. And I went ahead and calculated these for as half an hour. So my hourly wage for these would be 28 euros. And for those cats, I calculated an average of 55 minutes, which they took me to make, because some took me a little longer and some took me a little shorter, so 55 minutes around. And if I want to make as much from those as I am making from these, I would need to sell these for 25 euros, which I think is a little steep if you compare the two sizes, but I think I might actually bump them to 22 for now and see if they sell. It is very like out there. I wouldn't have gone over 20 if I didn't have any comparison, but I think I need to charge myself more fairly for my work this year. So I will be selling them for 22 and seeing if they do well and if they do sell. I know that these sell pretty well at 14, so we shall see in the future if 22 is too much or if they fly off my shelves and I can raise them to 25 and make the same as I am making from my other cat pattern. If that happens in the future, I will definitely keep on making those. Even if they sell well at 22 euros, I think I might want to have a couple of them sitting on one of my crates in the future at my markets, because I think they do look very different and a little more detailed, and I think will speak to a different type of person than these will speak to. But yeah, I'm really glad I tried it out. I obviously can't give you any results on how well they sell compared to my other cats, but I will definitely update you in the future after my first market of the year how the two patterns compared. And now I'm so glad that you watched this video all the way until the end. I will see you guys again next week for another video. So until then, bye!